I'm a guitar player. It's a pretty sweet job. A lot of perks. One of the perks is that I play gigs late at night, and my days are pretty much filled up, are pretty much wide open to do whatever I want. And I took up running to fill up this time of my day. I have this little AM/FM radio I plug in, and I just cruise all over the city, and I love it. I love watching the city unfold in front of me and being in tune with the rhythms of it. I spend a lot of time on the Queensboro 59th Street Ed Koch Bridge. I live on the Queens side. I run across to Central Park very often, and it's structurally a beautiful bridge, but the energy on the path that the pedestrians use is kind of an anxious, uneasy feeling. That's because it's a very narrow path, and it's shared by pedestrians, cyclists, scooter riders, all sorts of people. And it's compounded by the fact that you're mere feet away from cars with their exhaust, honking horns, and police sirens. The most narrow part of the bridge is on the Manhattan side, where the pathway bottlenecks around a structural column in the bridge. And it was there over the summer that I was running, and I saw a woman. The woman had a large, wide-brim hat, and she was pushing a shopping cart, and she had several open beach umbrellas in the shopping cart, and she was coming at me. And that's not an odd sight to see in New York, but struck me as odd that day. It became even more odd when she started waving at me, and I'm running at her, and at first I thought she was just waving to potentially get me out of the way because she was out of control with her cart or something, I don't know. But as I got close, I realized she was trying to get my attention. So as I got up to her, I took my headphones out, and she said, there's a man on the bridge, he's going to jump, go help him, go help him, go help him. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I just wanted to turn around and run away. But I couldn't. I lived on the other side of the bridge, and I knew I had to run past him. So I took off running. What I expected to see was somebody right on the edge of the bridge. What I saw was a young man who was probably about 17 years old, and he was on the safe side of the bridge, leaning against the fence. And he had a 10-mile stare. And he had a look on his face that I'm somewhat familiar with. It looked like he was about to get into a fight, which is to say he was angry, he was scared to death, and he was desperately trying to mask it with indifference. So I stopped and I asked him if he was okay, and he didn't say anything. He just looked right through me and ignored me. So I asked him if he was okay a second time, still nothing. And so I said, there was a woman on the bridge. She said somebody was going to jump. Is that you? And still he didn't say anything, but tears started to stream down his face. And I said, look, man, I don't know you, but just don't do it. Just walk with me off the bridge. I have a story I can tell you. Just walk with me off the bridge. Please don't do it. And he didn't really move. And I said, listen, I lost my twin sister 2 years ago to a suicide. And I just wish I could be there and tell her not to do it. So please just walk with me. And he started to move. And so we started to walk off the bridge together. And I recounted in great detail about the night that my sister passed away and how we met, how I saw her in the house that we grew up in. He was really scared. When we had to walk in a single file line, he wouldn't even let me walk behind him. I had to walk in front of him. I talked, and when there was a lull in the conversation, he just said, tell me more about your sister. So I did. I told him that she was an amazing visual artist. She was an unrepentant radical with a touch of anarchist, but she had a very extremely tender heart and was incredibly sensitive. She used to draw caricatures at tourists at Six Flags, and she was so sensitive that she couldn't make any money doing it because she would always give them away, either thinking it wasn't good enough or thinking it was so good that they just should have it for free. I told her how I missed her, how I never got to say goodbye, and I really wish that I could have. We got onto solid ground, and I didn't know what to do. I asked him if he had a safe place to go. He said he did. I asked him if he lived with his parents. He said yes. And I said, if it's an abusive situation, you don't have to go home. You can come home with me. I already had a friend of mine sleeping on the couch, so I couldn't offer that. But I said, you can come home. We can figure out some safe place for you to go. He said that It wasn't abusive, and he had a safe place to go home to his parents. And at that time, I just really wanted to give him a hug, but it didn't seem like he was into like a hugging mood at the time. So I dapped him up with what has to be the world's most awkward fist bump. And then he walked away, and so did I. I went the other way, and I started running. And while we were on the bridge, I had this singleness of purpose, this focus of just all I wanted to do was get him off the bridge, and I was refusing to feel any of the feelings except for that. But as I started to run away, I put my headphones back in, and I'll never forget Bob Dylan's Boots of Spanish Leather started playing. And all the emotion I had been suppressing on the bridge shot up through me like a wave. And I started to cry as I ran home. And then I took a shower. And it was a complete breakdown in the shower, on my hands and knees and crying. And I don't remember his face that well. I don't know that I would even recognize him if I saw him today, but I hope he's okay. But I got out of the shower. I had a gig to go to. I wish I could say I went and played Bob Dylan's Boots of Spanish Leather, but it's a really hard song to play. I don't know it. But I played other Dylan songs, and I hope he's okay.